Holding the letter in her hand, Meng Yi shot a glare at the villainous disciple Chu and said in a sour tone, "All right, I'll help you this time." Xiao Zhan smiled, clasped his hands, and bowed his head. "Thank you, respected master." He took the letter and left. Meng Yi felt a bit uncomfortable inside. She thought to herself, it's just delivering a letter on the way. She absolutely won't sneak a peek. At Taisu Peak, Master Palace, Hu Fei returned to Taisu Peak, unable to suppress her injuries, and immediately entered seclusion for cultivation to heal. The entire holy ground fell into a state of alarm. The old holy master, also in seclusion, was disturbed and temporarily emerged to handle the affairs of the holy ground. Inside Taisu's room, seeing Hu Fei's pale face, Meng Yi pouted and said, "Is it worth it for your little man?" Hu Fei, hearing this, looked at Meng Yi with a smile, her voice gentle with a hint of teasing. "Why, are you jealous?" In battle, she was peerless and imposing like a celestial maiden from the ninth sky, indifferent to the mortals. But in front of those close to her, she was gentle and tender like a kind neighbor. Meng Yi closed her eyes, avoiding Hu Fei's gaze, and pretended not to care. I'm not that boring. At this moment, Meng Yi took out an envelope and handed it to Taisu Z. "Your good little brother wrote a letter to you." After giving the letter to Taisu Z, Meng Yi felt uncomfortable in her heart. She turned her face away, frowned, and thought to herself, "I wonder what that villainous disciple wrote inside." Meanwhile, after receiving the letter, Taisu Z immediately opened it to see what was written inside. In front of her appeared a few scribbled lines that looked like a chicken scratch. "Sister Hoa, don't worry. Thanks to the help of the saintly sovereign, I have successfully overcome my trials. I will come to visit you soon." As Taisu Z read the letter, she smiled softly, her cheeks flushed. Meng Yi, sitting next to her, cast a glance at Taisu Z, feeling a surge of jealousy. She silently criticized, "Is it really necessary to be like this? A letter from a villainous disciple makes you this happy? Damn it, that heartless villainous disciple doesn't even know to thank me." Suddenly, Taisu Z laughed out loud and said to Meng Yi, "Xiao Zhan usually looks like a talented person. Why does his writing look terrible?" Meng Yi then laughed delightfully. "That's because you don't understand. He has never been serious about his studies." Seeing Taisu Z place Xiao Zhan's letter at the head of the bed, the jealousy in her heart erupted. Angrily, she exclaimed, "Why is there still a letter from the villainous disciple at the head of the bed?" Due to her overwhelming joy, Taisu Z's wound flared up, causing her to cough violently. A bright red streak of blood trickled from the corner of her mouth. Meng Yi saw this and hurriedly supported Taisu Z, her face filled with concern. "Is your path wounded?" Taisu Z wiped the fresh blood from the corner of her mouth and waved her hand. "There's no need to worry, I'm fine." Meng Yi immediately became angry, frowning at Taisu Z and snapping. "How is that not a big deal? Unless we can find the purest path essence, it will be hard to repair your path's cracks." Taisu Z smiled at Meng Yi and said, "Don't worry, the purest path essence is hard to find, but not unfindable. We'll just take our time. How's Xiao Zhan's status?" Meng Yi replied, her voice tinged with bitterness. "You're injured like this, and you still have the energy to worry about your good brother? Don't worry, maybe it's because of your essence blood's protection. His path is not injured." Hearing this, a hint of doubt appeared in Hu Fei's pupils. Soon, her brows gradually relaxed. "That's good enough. I wonder what expression the Taisu Holy Master will have when he finds out about this." Hearing this, Meng Yi's eyes brightened. She joyfully spoke. "Then can the engagement between Xiao Zhan and Holy Maiden Yaoxi be cancelled?" Taisu Z was astonished, her eyes widening as she looked at Meng Yi. "Meng Yi, why you seem so eager?" Realizing her slightly impatient demeanor, Meng Yi quickly changed the subject, coughed, and regained her composure, saying, "I just feel that if the two sides truly joined together, that child wouldn't belong to our Taisu Holy Ground. Isn't that just letting them take advantage? Why should we let Yaoxi and her group benefit?" Taisu Z nodded, not thinking too much, and replied, "That's true, but Yaoxi's Holy Ground will definitely not give up easily. They will actively seek out Xiao Zhan. At that point, we'll see what choice Xiao Zhan makes." Upon hearing this, Meng Yi couldn't help but feel emotional, glaring in anger. How dare he? Witnessing this expression from Meng Yi, Taisu Z could only widen her eyes, staring blankly at Yun He Holy Master with a series of question marks in her mind. In Shang Jing City, Taisu Embassy, during this time, Xiao Zhan continuously engaged in seclusion cultivation, practicing Taisu's skill to restore his life essence. Xiao Zhan thought to himself, "Recently I have been preparing for the tribulation, and after the tribulation, I will be in seclusion to heal. I haven't even had a chance to study that bronze plate." After thinking this, Xiao Zhan immediately took out the large bronze plate along with two small broken copper fragments and assembled them together to complete it. Suddenly, the bronze plate lit up brilliantly, emitting red beams of light that converged in the air, gradually forming a map. The map featured towering mountains and ancient towering trees, with a red blinking dot located in the center of a brown U-shaped area. Xiao Zhan was filled with amazement, thinking, what is this bronze plate that is so miraculous? Could it be the location of the congenital sword fetus? Xiao Zhan furrowed his brow and thought, but the Tian Qiong Continent is so vast. Where should I go to search? While he was deep in thought, suddenly the stone lens flew out from the ring storage on its own, startling demonic Chu. The young man let out a soft exclamation, and inside the stone lens, information immediately appeared. Number 6. Welcome to Logan Hong Huang Chatting Channel's Starlight Square Secret Realm Private Trading Space Collaboratorium Cultivation Room All-Race Battlefield. At this moment, the Secret Realm column was continuously flashing with light. Xiao Zhan immediately pressed on the Secret Realm icon, and the stone lens displayed information about the Secret Realm. The number of people who can enter the Secret Realm is 1. The Tai Chi Ancient Star is open countdown time, 7 months, 8 days, and 4 hours. Note, once the seal of the Tai Chi Ancient Star is opened, a consumption of spiritual stone or divine spiritual stone will open a teleportation channel to the Tai Chi Ancient Star. Xiao Zhan felt confused. Don't tell me that the congenital sword fetus is on Tai Chi. That place is a battlefield at the level of a great saint. As a cultivator of the Dao Palace realm, if I sneak in, wouldn't that be asking to lose my life? Wait, the Tai Chi Ancient has no teleportation formation. Other cultivators need to use their body to transcend the void to enter. But I am different. I can use the stone lens to teleport over there. It's convenient and quick, and I can gain the upper hand by arriving first. After thinking this, Xiao Zhan gritted his teeth and made a firm decision. No matter what, I must obtain the congenital sword fetus. Don't mention the Great Saint battlefield. Even if it's the Saint King battlefield, I have to take the gamble. My cultivation has broken through to the Dao Palace realm, and I can go to Hong Kong to take a look. Who knows, I might find Zhu Bai Yu and conveniently test the teleportation function of the stone lens to see if it's good. Xiao Zhan immediately reached out and pressed the button to select Starlight Square. Xiao Zhan's figure instantly disappeared, no longer existing in the Tian Qiong Continent. It was unclear how much time had passed when Xiao Zhan opened his eyes and found himself in a strange place in the void. Standing in midair and looking down, Xiao Zhan was shocked and astonished. Before him was an incredibly vast city floating in the void. Surrounding the city were towering city walls that extended for hundreds of thousands of miles. On the floating city gate, there were 4 large, ancient golden characters, Starlight Square. An ancient aura washed over Xiao Zhan, and the spiritual energy of this place was more than twice as thick as that of the Taisu Holy Ground. If one cultivated here, even with ordinary talent, the speed of advancement would increase rapidly. Xiao Zhan thought to himself, is this really the Starlight Square of Hong Kong? While lost in thought, a deep, unpleasant voice suddenly came from behind Xiao Zhan. Oh, another human slave running around. Xiao Zhan frowned upon hearing this and turned around, a bit startled when he clearly saw the appearance of the other party. It was a tall, muscular figure, but what caught the most attention were the 2 pairs of parallel pupils on his forehead while his nose was sunken. Xiao Zhan silently thought, human slave, is he talking about me? At this moment, 3 other beings appeared behind Xiao Zhan, staring intently at him. They immediately exclaimed in shock, you can cultivate? Xiao Zhan was taken aback and looked towards the 3 beings. In the middle stood a being with a dragon's head and a horse's body, covered in scales, entirely green, with bright red eyes. On one side stood a being resembling Long Sea, holding a golden trident. The last one was a woman of striking beauty, resembling a human, except for her long and large ears. Xiao Zhan looked at these 3 beings with astonished eyes and silently thought, they look so strange. Could they be monsters? Why are monsters appearing here? It's not convenient to stir trouble right after arriving. I'll go inside the city and gather information first. Just as Xiao Zhan prepared to enter the city, he was stopped by the large 4-eyed being. He curled his lip into a fierce smile. Starlight Square hasn't seen a human cultivate for tens of thousands of years. Bada is very interested in you. Come with me, and I will treat you well. On this side, when hearing Buddha's words, all 3 beings, Long Ma, Long Xia, and the female spirit simultaneously showed a strange expression. Long Ma spoke. Bada can be considered a master of the Hong Kong world. Among billions of people who have reached the Dao Palace realm, he ranks 1088. This is not a low ranking. Being 1088 among billions of the Dao Palace realm clearly demonstrates how powerful he is. The being Long Xia also spoke. That human who can reach Starlight Square must be extraordinary. However, from my observations, this person is also just at the Dao Palace realm. The pale female spirit said, "This human's brother will definitely lose the duel against Bada." On this side, demonic Chu said nothing. The young man used ethereal steps of yin and yang with all his strength. In just a blink, demonic Chu appeared before Bada. Behind him, a shadow emerged, and the human emperor Punch unleashed a force so terrifying that it shattered the lower half of Bada's body instantly. Divine blood, internal organs, and bones flew out thousands of feet away. Witnessing this scene, Long Ma, Long Xia, and the female elf stared in horror at Xiao Zhan. How is it possible? Just one punch has shattered Bada's body. The scene suddenly became silent, with Bada's remains floating in the air. In the eyes of the female elf, waves of emotions arose as she stared intently into the distance, where a young human warrior stood alone in the sky, his long black hair flowing gently like a waterfall. She murmured, "So strong." Xiao Zhan slowly made his way towards the city gate. Suddenly, the female elf smiled hesitantly and spoke. "This human friend, please stop." Xiao Zhan slowly turned around, his fist clenched, a bright smile on his face as he looked at the female and asked, "Is there something else? Do you three intend to stop me?" His words made the female elf tremble, and she hurriedly explained, "Please don't misunderstand. I see that it's your first time in Starlight Square, and you must have many questions. I can answer them for you." Demonic Chu's eyes were filled with suspicion as he coldly spoke. "Answer my questions? Go on. What is your purpose?" The female spirit smiled and replied, "If we talk about the purpose, I just want to build a good relationship with a powerful person like you. Are you willing to follow me into the city to talk?" Xiao Zhan still had many questions in his heart, and the young man did not want to say much, so he nodded and replied, "All right, lead the way." Thus, Xiao Zhan followed the female spirit into Starlight Square. They arrived at a tea house, where there were many cultivators from various races with all sorts of strange appearances. Especially when they saw Xiao Zhan's presence, their gazes became uniform, shifting from surprise to shock, and finally to greed. On the second floor of the tea house, the female spirit sat across from Xiao Zhan and spoke, "My friend, I am a Dogra of the Wind Spirit clan. May I ask what my friend's name is?" Xiao Zhan, tilting his head to look around, replied without thinking, "My name is Sunny Boy." Holding a cup of tea in his hand, Xiao Zhan once again gazed around. The young man thought to himself, "There are many shops in Starlight Square selling the souls and flesh of humans. What on earth is this place? Why is the status of humans here so low?" Thinking of this, Xiao Zhan felt that this place was not safe. He wondered what Zhu Bai Yu was doing here alone and whether she was still alive now. After hearing Xiao Zhan's name, Dobra was slightly surprised, finding the name quite strange, but he did not consider it significant. Dobra continued to ask, "My friend, did you come here alone without knowing the circumstances of humankind?" Xiao Zhan replied calmly, "I have always been in isolation for cultivation, so I do not really understand the circumstances of humankind." Dobra nodded and said, "Then you must not know that humankind are also known as the Sind, a race cursed by heaven. They are unable to cultivate by birth, yet you have managed to break the curse to cultivate and reach your current extraordinary level." Xiao Zhan frowned and asked, "Why are humans considered a race that cannot cultivate, yet they are an intelligent race? How did they end up in this situation? Is there some kind of hidden issue here?" The Dogra spirit nodded. "The reason is very simple. All races, if they do not eliminate a certain number of humans within a certain period, will see their numbers weaken or even face extermination. 3,000 years ago, there was a human ranked 1578 who felt that humans in all races were intelligent beings that should not be treated this way. So they refused to slaughter humans. Several decades later, for reasons unknown, the blue-skinned humans were completely wiped out. On the contrary, if they could take action against humans with cultivation, they could receive gifts from heaven and earth, and the higher the cultivation level, the more abundant the rewards would be. In fact, we do not want to do this, but the heavenly principle forces all races to slaughter humans as part of a mission that must be completed. Even if we do not want to kill, we still have to." Demonic Chu smiled slightly at this and looked at the elf girl, saying, "Oh, killing humans is your mission, so why are you being so kind as to tell me these things?" The elf girl replied, "I see you're quite talented, and I really can't bear to see you harmed by others. That's why I wanted to tell you about this, hoping to help you." Xiao Zhan, upon hearing this, smirked and thought, "Hoping to help me? Ha ha ha, only a fool would believe your words. It would be great if you don't force me to become dried meat. I can't do anything else at the moment, so I'll just have to wait until I increase my cultivation a bit more and then come look for Zhu Bai Yu." Thinking for a moment, Xiao Zhan stood up and said, "Thank you. It's getting late. We should head back." At this time, Dobra took out a piece of a token and handed it to Xiao Zhan. She smiled and said, "This is my communication token. When you reach the secret place, if you need teammates, you can contact me." Xiao Zhan happily accepted Dogra's token and said, "No problem." After that, they bid farewell. Xiao Zhan walked to a sparsely populated street, quickly entered a dark alley, and threw away Dogra's token. Xiao Zhan secretly thought only a fool would bring this back. If the Tian Qiong Continent gets located by them, the consequences would be dire. Demonic Chu claimed to be no good person, but he also didn't want to assist in leading various clans to harm his fellow humans and disturb the mortal realm. Then Xiao Zhan activated the stone lens and the control panel appeared. The young man immediately pressed the tip of his finger and selected the destination as Tian Qiong Continent. His figure flickered and then disappeared. After Xiao Zhan left, Dogra immediately appeared. His calm gaze looked towards the place where Xiao Zhan had just disappeared, and he smiled faintly, thinking, he is still quite cautious, but from another perspective, it shows that the place he is in may not be the only one where he can cultivate. I must take the opportunity to report this news back to the clan. At Tian Qiong Continent, Shang Jing City, Taisu Embassy, Xiao Zhan's figure once again appeared in his room. Xiao Zhan's expression turned serious. That female elf indeed has ill intentions. From now on, I must absolutely not trust anything, especially when in Hong Huang. I am just an orphan. The whole world is an enemy. Years ago, Taisu Emperor Sovereign was the same, fighting to the point of invincibility, right? I never thought the humans in the universe would be regarded so insignificantly. What is the relationship between Starlight Square and Tian Qiong Continent? At this moment, Mo Fa Yan elders opened the door from outside, walked in and said, "Your Highness, someone from Taisu Holy Ground wishes to see you. If you do not want to meet them, I will inform them to come back another day." Xiao Zhan stepped forward to Mo Fa Yan, smiled, and asked, "Fa Yan, why does someone from Taisu Holy Ground seek my help?" Xiao Zhan, the pervert, stepped forward, wrapped his arms around Mo Elder's waist, and flashed a wicked smile before exclaiming. Mo Fa Yan's face immediately flushed red, and she shyly said, "Your Highness, there are many people during the day. It wouldn't be good if we were seen." Xiao Zhan, the pervert, only smiled in response, his restless hand sliding down to squeeze her peach, causing Mo Fa Yan to startle and turn to look. At that moment, Xiao Zhan, the pervert, said, "All right, tell Yao Xi's people to come meet me." Mo Elder blushed and shyly replied, "Okay." In the main hall of the Taisu Embassy, as he poured tea, Demonic Chu asked, "I wonder what the holy daughter Yao Xi and Elder Yi Meng have come to see me about." Sitting across from Xiao Zhan, Feng Yao, and Elder Yi Meng scrutinized him closely. Looking at his appearance, there was not a hint of withering or injury on his body. Elder Yi Meng furrowed his brow and thought, something's not right. He doesn't look like someone who has been severely injured at all. Elder Yi Meng, experienced in dealing with people, blinked slightly and said to Xiao Zhan, "Does the Holy Sun know that a few days ago, the Taisu Holy Master came to the Taisu Holy Ground to propose marriage?" Xiao Zhan was astonished to hear this. The young man thought to himself, no wonder Sister Hua and respected master were missing from the auction. It turns out they were doing important work. Xiao Zhan immediately directed his gaze towards Holy Maiden Yao Xi, wondering, could this person be my betrothed? When Feng Yao felt Xiao Zhan's gaze fixed on her, her soft body trembled. She slightly lowered her head, not daring to meet Xiao Zhan's eyes, her face and ears turning red. Knowing who the betrothed was, Demonic Chu smiled brightly, looking slightly hesitant, but then said, "All right, I agree." He thought to himself, the opportunity is right in front of me. It would be a waste not to take it. Elder Yi Meng and Feng Yao were both stunned to hear Xiao Zhan's response. Neither of them expected Xiao Zhan to agree so easily and decisively. Elder Yi Meng smiled and spoke to Xiao Zhan. "Then we will follow our agreement. If the Holy Son and Holy Daughter have children, they must be nurtured by our Taisu Holy Ground." As soon as Elder Yi Meng finished speaking, Xiao Zhan replied coldly, "That won't do. Mo Elders, please see the guests off." Xiao Zhan was internally furious, cursing very well. Do they want to treat me like a breeding stallion? Do I need you to raise Demonic Chu's children? In the face of Xiao Zhan's decisive stance, both Feng Yao and Elder Yi Meng were stunned, not knowing what had happened that caused the Holy Sun to change so quickly. At that moment, Mo Fa Yan reached out and spoke. "Elder Yi Meng, Holy Maiden Yao Xi, our Holy Sun still needs to engage in seclusion cultivation. I will see you both off." Bai Meng replied, "Thank you for your trouble, Mo Elder." Elder Yi Meng and Feng Yao left with sad expressions. Feng Yao was not a self-absorbed woman, but she had great confidence in her allure. From her aura, posture, appearance to her cultivation level, everything was at its peak. However, in front of Xiao Zhan, he gave her a completely different feeling, making her ponder. Elder Yi Meng felt uncomfortable due to the failure in the agreement with Xiao Zhan. She thought to herself, today's situation was too passive. Taisu Holy Sun was not injured and my negotiating space was too limited. It would be better to wait until another day to discuss it again. After thinking, she turned to Feng Yao and said, that shouldn't be. I see that as soon as Xiao Zhan saw you, he was indeed attracted to your body. Feng Yao felt shy upon hearing this. Her face instantly turned red. She gently replied, Elder Yimeng, your words are too straightforward. I believe this matter can still be salvaged. Let's return to the Holy Ground first and try again in 2 days. Suddenly, Feng Yao glanced at Elder Yimeng. With determination in her eyes, Feng Yao said, Elder Yimeng, you should go back first. I want to stay. I will make him fall in love with me actively, and I will wholeheartedly love him too. In Xiao Zhan's room, holding the stone lens in his hand, Xiao Zhan thought casually using Hong Huang is a bit risky. Let's see if there's any trace of Zhu Bai Yu in the chat channel. At that moment, the revered master Meng Yi appeared. Hearing that saintly sovereign Yao Si and the holy daughter had arrived, the sudden appearance of the revered master startled the villainous disciple Chu. The young man hurriedly hid the stone lens, thinking, why has the revered master come here at this time? Meng Yi coldly said, I see that the holy daughter Yao Si has a gentle personality. Looking at the Tian Qiong Continent in terms of figure and appearance, she is truly outstanding. You have indeed struck a great deal. Hearing this, Xiao Zhan smiled and replied, yes, holy maiden Yao Si is indeed stunning. Thank you, revered master and sister Hua, for kindly introducing her to me. Xiao Zhan thought to himself, respected master is jealous again. A hint of worry appeared on Meng Yi's face as she looked at Xiao Zhan and asked, from the tone of your voice, you must have agreed to this marriage, right? Xiao Zhan walked over to Meng Yi, draped his arm over her shoulders, and smiled as he replied, how could that be? How could holy daughter Yao Si possibly compare to my precious respected master? Hearing this, Meng Yi pinched the waist of the villainous disciple Chu and scolded loudly, since when did I belong to you? Don't you dare speak nonsense. Paying for respected master's pinch, Xiao Zhan broke into a sweat and said, you all arranged a marriage for me without asking for my opinion. Now you dare come here to question me. Meng Yi pouted, isn't it because of your sacred body? If you can't overcome the great tribulation and your life is in danger, then you can only cultivate with holy daughter Yao Si to heal your injuries. So that's how it is. Thank you both for your concern. By the way, how is saintly sovereign's injury? Xiao Zhan asked. Meng Yi replied sadly, not very good. Only path essence can help her recover, but I don't know where to find it. Upon hearing this, Xiao Zhan took out the stone lens, held it in his hand, and said, this stone lens is a treasure I found in Huan Yao's secret realms. Through it, you can enter a place called Hong Huang. Perhaps there will be path essence inside. Xiao Zhan stared thoughtfully at the stone lens in his hand, quietly thinking, I remember someone mentioning path essence in the chat channel. Perhaps I should take a look. Demonic Chu was inherently cautious and had no intention of venturing into Hong Huang. However, upon learning about Sister Hua's current situation and the unusual movements of the monster tribe, he realized that the situation was very urgent. If not handled well, the entire Taisu Holy Ground would be destroyed. The main reason was still due to him. Demonic Chu had never cared about the lives of others, but within Taisu Holy Ground, there were people he couldn't let go, especially his babe and sister Hua, who risked their lives to protect him. Although he considered himself to be an antagonist, Demonic Chu was still a flesh and blood human. Looking at the stone lens before him, the fairy Meng Yi spoke up. Hong Huang, where is that? Is there really path essence there? Xiao Zhan's expression grew more serious as he replied, I'm not quite sure where Hong Huang actually is. I only know that the position of humans there is very low. There are many races inside, all hunting humans, especially human cultivators. Hearing this, Meng Yi could not help but feel a shock in her heart. She frowned and spoke up, is there really such a place? Why have I never heard of it before? If it is true, then the humans there are indeed in a dire situation. Xiao Zhan, with deep-set eyes, replied, that's right. I never thought that humans in the vast cosmos could be in such a terrible state. This is related to the secret of the Holy Ground, and it should never be disclosed. However, if there is path essence in Hong Huang, I must enter, no matter how dangerous it may be, to repay the kindness of the saintly sovereign. Meng Yi chimed in, villainous disciple, I will go in with you. Coincidentally, I also want to see what Hong Huang really is. Xiao Zhan looked at the beautiful babe and smiled. That works. Just in time, I wanted to see if I could bring someone in. As soon as he finished speaking, Xiao Zhan immediately tossed several thousand divine spiritual stones into the stone lens. The young man raised his hand oppressed, activating the runes on the stone lens. Meng Yi sat beside, her eyes wide open, intently watching. Soon after, a swirling space appeared. Xiao Zhan and Meng Yi held hands and stepped inside together. However, the swirling space rejected Meng Yi. A notification appeared on the stone lens. Order number 6. Currently, no authority to lead someone into Hong Huang has been received. This left both Meng Yi and Xiao Zhan very confused. Meng Yi exclaimed in surprise, "Why is that?" Xiao Zhan turned to look at Meng Yi and said, "It may be that the respected master has not obtained the authority to enter. But according to the reminder from the stone lens, after I obtain the authority, perhaps I can bring someone in together. It seems that only I can enter." Xiao Zhan continued, "Respected master, if another race really comes to the Tian Qiong Continent, humanity will face a disaster of extinction. You should tell this to the saintly sovereign so that the Holy Ground can prepare." Hearing Xiao Zhan's words, Meng Yi felt very anxious. She hurriedly interrupted, "No, it's too dangerous for you to go alone. You probably know that in a while, the Tai Chi Ancient Star will open. By then, I can go to the Tai Chi Ancient Star to search for Path Essence." Upon hearing this, Xiao Zhan raised Meng Yi's chin with his hand, looked at her gently, and smiled softly. "What's wrong, babe? Are you worried about me?" Meng Yi's cheeks flushed, but she still acted coldly and scolded. "Humph, I'm not worried at all. I wish you would die a little faster. Stop being so narcissistic. I'm just afraid you'll die in there, and no one will clean up the mess." Looking at her respected master, Demonic Chu felt nothing but happiness. He held her hands, squinting with a smile, and said, "My dear respected master, why are you so adorable? Don't worry, with my current abilities, I won't go in there by myself." Upon hearing this, Meng Yi pouted. "What are you explaining? Don't tell me you think I'm worried about you. Villainous disciple, get away from me." Suddenly, Xiao Zhan pushed Meng Yi down onto the floor, looking at the beautiful face of respected master. He smiled softly and whispered, "Respected master babe, it's getting late. How might you teach your disciples some skills?" Meng Yi panicked and shouted, "Get away from me." Despite being so defiant in this moment, all words faded away in the fiery love of the two. They seemed unaware, blending in with the sound of both their heavy breathing. Early the next morning, when Xiao Zhan woke up, respected Master Bait was no longer here. Only a faint, lingering fragrance remained around him. Meng Yi quickly returned to Taisu Holy Ground to bring news about Hong Huang to Ho Lu Fai. 7 days later in Shang Jing City. Today, the atmosphere was extremely lively. There were more cultivators than usual, and the streets were bustling with people. Tea houses and inns were fully booked, and everywhere was filled with the sound of lively discussions. I heard that the item forging master, Wu Han, is arriving in Shang Jing City soon. That's right, this Grand Master hasn't forged weapons in a long time. Now that he is coming out of seclusion, he has attracted the top experts from major forces here. Every major power has sent their extraordinary talents, hoping that the esteemed Elder Wu Han will help them forge weapons. One more thing, have you all heard? It seems that Yaosi Holy Daughter is pursuing Taisu Holy Son. As soon as this topic was brought up in the tea house, the atmosphere immediately became animated. At that moment, inside a room on the second floor of King Tower, there was a beautiful woman with platinum hair and an angry expression on her face. She frowned and snorted coldly. "Xiao Zhan, I keep hearing this name everywhere lately. I must take revenge for Brother Hao. If it weren't for Xiao Zhan, Brother Hao wouldn't have been injured so severely." She constantly complained and scolded Xiao Zhan. "I must kill Xiao Zhan. Kill and kill." Zhen Yao Yi looked at her sister Zhen Jiao Xu with eyes full of hatred towards Xiao Zhan, which made Zhen Yao Yi unable to help but worry. Xiao Zhan is definitely not someone to provoke easily. Whoever offends him will not have a good outcome. I have experienced Xiao Zhan's methods myself. Zhen Yao Yi went behind and gently patted her sister's shoulder to comfort her. "Sister, Xiao Zhan is not an ordinary cultivator. He is the Taisu Holy Son, and he is strong enough himself. We are not his match. How can you say you will just kill him? Moreover, Xiao Zhan is a madman who takes action without mercy. Shang Gong Hao is already dead. Is it worth it for you to harm yourself for Shang Gong Hao? Let go of yourself." Hearing her sister's words, Zhen Jiao Xu's face became frenzied, her pupils filled with blood. She said coldly, "It is worth it. Are you all afraid of him? Is the Zhen family afraid of Taisu Holy Ground? I am not afraid. By any means necessary, I will take revenge for Brother Hao. I will take his life, kill him." Seeing her younger sister like that, Zhen Yao Yi's eyelashes couldn't help but frown. She sorrowfully spoke. "Ah Wu, take her back and lock her up. Without my orders, no one is allowed to let her out. It's best to seal her cultivation to prevent her from doing something foolish." Ah Wu's face was filled with awkwardness, but he followed the second Mrs. orders. Zhen Yao Yi watched the back of Zhen Jiao Xu leaving. She sighed lightly, secretly thinking, "Third sister, don't blame me for being heartless. I have fought against Xiao Zhan before. He is like a madman. If you confront him, it will not end well. At the same time, at the Taisu embassy, in Xiao Zhan's room, demonic Chu was lying below, enjoying the techniques from Mo Elder where he sneezed continuously. A few sneezes in a row made him irritated, secretly cursing. Who is cursing me? The Mo Fai Yan Elder was sitting above, riding a horse and chasing butterflies. She pulled her hair away from her face and tucked it behind her ear, her body undulating up and down, her cheeks flushed with a smile on her lips. Looking at the appearance and face of Mo Fai Yan Elder at this moment, villainous disciple Chu couldn't help but think of respected Master Babe. The young man secretly thought, if only my respected master could be as obedient as Mo Elder, that would be great. A moment later, after both had exchanged techniques, the Mo Fai Yan elders obediently served, with Fei Yi attending to Xiao Zhan and massaging his shoulders. She acted like a little cat that understood, doing as she was told. Your Highness, the Yao Si Holy Daughter has arrived early this morning. After Xiao Zhan finished his satisfaction, he had no energy left to think about women. The tired young man spoke up. Forget about her. Suddenly outside the door, Yi Hong Yu shouted loudly, Brother Chu, something big has happened. Seeing this, Xiao Zhan immediately turned to the Mo Fai Yan elders and said, You can leave for now. Mo Fai Yan politely replied, Yes, Your Highness. As she opened the door to leave, Yi Hong Yu directly walked in. Xiao Zhan then asked Yi Hong Yu, Brother Yi, what happened? Yi Hong Yu, filled with joy, couldn't suppress his laughter. The third young lady of the Zhen family has arrived in Shang Jing City. She declared loudly that whoever can kill Brother Chu will have her hand in marriage. That woman has gone crazy. Xiao Zhan frowned, his face full of doubt, stroking his chin and asked, Brother Yi, who is the third young lady of the Zhen family? Have I offended her? Yi Hong Yu replied helplessly, Brother Chu, have you forgotten? You killed her man. Xiao Zhan answered indifferently, I've killed many people. Shang Gong Hao, Brother Chu, do you still remember? The third young lady of the Zhen family is his childhood friend. Xiao Zhan's pupils slightly moved, and the image of Shang Gong Hao immediately appeared in his mind. Oh, I remember now, he's the one who likes to show off. Suddenly, an idea arose in his heart. Demonic Chu immediately looked at Yi Hong Yu, beaming with a bright smile. Brother Yi, do you want to make a big profit? Yi Hong Yu squinted his eyes, smiling eerily. Brother Chu is indeed my soulmate. We think alike. Ha ha ha. Brother Yi, you go open a betting round, request that we fight in the same cultivation realm, no killing. Yi Hong Yu clapped his hands. Brother Chu is truly brilliant. Just like that, those who crave the third young lady of the Zhen family will definitely rush to the arena to challenge you continuously. That you could defeat them all with your unbeatable aura, allowing the bettors to keep winning money from our bookmaker. In the end, Brother Yi will find someone to come here and beat me, winning back both the principal and the profit. Demonic Chu patted Yi Hong Yu on the shoulder. Brother Yi, is there any problem with your operation? Yi Hong Yu's face was filled with pride as he gave a thumbs up and confidently replied, My brother, just sit back and relax while I make the money. If Jin Jiaoxu finds out that the person who killed her husband is you, and that you're using her thirst for revenge to make a big profit, she might truly go insane. The two bespectacled young men exchanged glances, their smiles turning perverse. Ha ha ha, interesting. Truly very interesting. Ha ha ha, of course. Brother Yi, let's go. The two of us will head to the celebration first. A few days later, at the Bamboo Forest and Cherry Blossoms Island, where magnificent celestial islands were built on massive stone blocks, covered by cherry blossoms amidst white clouds floating in the sky. At this moment, in the central cherry blossom garden, a large number of cultivators gathered, creating a lively atmosphere filled with continuous chatter. This Xiao Zhan is brutal and ruthless. Everyone wants to kill him. A young man patted his chest and assured, That's right. Brother Ma is absolutely correct. Even without the matter concerning Miss Zhen Jiaoxu, I would still want to challenge him. Miss Zhen Jiaoxu, don't worry. I will definitely return to challenge Xiao Zhan. Zhen Jiaoxu slightly frowned and replied, Then I will troll you all. If anyone can kill Xiao Zhan, I, Zhen Jiaoxu, will definitely keep my promise. On the surface, she said this to the cultivators, but in her heart, she sneered. You are just tools for me to exploit, yet you dream of marrying me? In a pavilion not far from the center of the Peach Blossom Garden, there were two men and one woman sitting and talking to each other. All the events that occurred between Zhen Jiaoxu and the cultivators were in the sight of all three. The young man sitting in the middle, dressed in blue, was quiet and reserved, appearing polite and gentle, but he was actually very cruel. His nickname was Hellfire Lotus. His name was Yang Lion, the most outstanding genius of the southern region, belonging to the Great Shen Yan sect, with a cultivation level reaching the great peak of godly power realm, ranking 7th on the Celestial Secrets Pavilion leaderboard. He had comprehended a divine ability of the highest order, the Crimson Lotus Demon Fire, an extremely bizarre, evil flame that burned the souls of cultivators by igniting the deepest inner demons. If one could not surpass it or extinguish the evil flame in time, the only outcome would be the shattering of their soul, with even their internal organs turning to ash, which was truly terrifying. The young man sitting on the left, dressed like a scholar, holding a folding fan, is named Xing Xiayu, the younger brother of Yao Guang Holy Sun, whose cultivation has also reached the godly power realm Great Peak. The young woman in a pink dress with a white scarf covering her face, sitting furthest outside, is Qin Yao, a disciple of Taisu Holy Ground, who has also achieved the godly power realm Great Peak in cultivation. Yang Lion looked over at Zhen Jiaoxu and smirked. As a Ji Jiao princess, how could she end up in such a situation, having to make friends with a group of lowly cultivators? Qin Yao responded with a blank expression. When in despair, anything can be tried. Yang Lion immediately laughed mockingly. It's not that I look down on others, but with just this group, they could possibly defeat Taisu Holy Sun. I was fortunate to witness Taisu Holy Sun during his tribulation. That scene was truly terrifying. With just one punch, he shattered a region of lightning, annihilating enemies of the same level. At this point, he turned to the young man sitting on the left and spoke. By the way, Xiayu brother, I heard that Yao Guang Holy Sun also wants to come to Shang Jing City. Is that true? Xing Xiayu nodded. Yes, my elder brother did mention that he would come, but he has some matters to attend to at the moment. I can't understand who has such a malicious heart to spread Yu-Hu, a divine text, in my brother's hands, causing harm to him as he has been ambushed by experts multiple times recently. If he weren't so powerful, he might have been injured or even killed. I roughly guess why he wants to come to Shang Ying. Everyone knows that my brother is fond of Holy Maiden Yao Si, but recently there have been rumors that Holy Maiden Yao Si is pursuing Taisu Holy Sun. At this point, he looked towards Qin Yao. Does Miss Qin Yao know about this? Qin Yao nodded and slightly parted her lips. That's right, this matter is no longer a secret in Shang Jing City. At this moment in Shang Jing City, above, Yi Hong Yu and Xiao Zhan stood in front of the large gate. He casually addressed the cultivators. Everyone, don't miss out. Taisu Holy Sun is about to compete against someone at the largest arena in Shang Jing City. The outcome will be clear on the battlefield. Xiao Zhan stood beside him, starting to act. Heaven may be kind, Shang Jing City has just experienced the calamity of a blood sacrifice I do not wish to kill. Hearing Xiao Zhan say this, a group of cultivators immediately burst into joyful laughter. What does Taisu Holy Sun mean by this? Is he promising not to kill anymore? Later, we will challenge Taisu Holy Sun. After all, he won't kill us and we can still create an impression in front of the Zhen family's third young lady. Inside the arena, Xing Xiu exhibited curiosity. He smiled and said to Qin Yao and Yang Lion, "What does the Taisu Holy Sun want to do? I don't believe he's that boring. Would you two be interested in going to take a look?" The arena resembled a Roman Colosseum and occupied a vast area in Shang Jing City capable of accommodating thousands of spectators simultaneously. Just a few hours after the news was released, the arena was already packed with people, with cultivators continuously arriving and all lining up to enter. As Yang Lion, Xing Xiu, and Qin Yao reached the entrance, they saw a female disciple standing at the ticket counter. Yang Lion exclaimed in surprise, "Do we really need to buy tickets?" The female disciple of Taisu Holy Ground nodded in response, her lovely face breaking into a professional smile as she addressed the three of them. Standard seating usually costs 100 high-grade spirit stones, a regular room costs 10 divine stones, and a luxury room costs 1,000 divine stones. The female disciple smiled as she spoke, her wide eyes blinking continuously as she looked directly at Yang Lion. "May I ask which level of ticket the three guests would like to purchase? The VIP room is in high demand. First come, first served." This made Xing Xiu feel that if he didn't buy the most expensive ticket to enter, he would definitely be looked down upon by her. He couldn't allow himself to be disdained by others, so he immediately took out 1,000 divine stones and smiled confidently at the female disciple. "I want the VIP room." The female disciple immediately smiled and replied, "All right, please come inside." Soon all three were led into the VIP room. Inside the room, they could observe the entire scene outside the arena. The sight in the arena once again shocked all three, as the number of people coming to watch the battle was overwhelming. Qin Yao spoke up. "Just counting the outdoor stands, there are probably no less than 10 million people." Xing Xiu quietly calculated. A ticket for outdoor viewing costs 100 upper-grade spiritual coins equivalent to 1 million upper-grade spiritual stones. The number of people coming to watch the battle is continuously increasing. A regular room costs 10 divine spiritual stones per room, totaling 100,000 divine spiritual stones. The VIP room costs 1,000 divine stones per room, totaling 1 million divine spiritual stones. After calculating for a while, Yang Lian was stunned. He was amazed and exclaimed, Taisu Holy Sun could be a business genius. At that moment, 3 beautiful young women with graceful figures and lotus-like footsteps approached. In their hands, they held trays with spirit tea and spirit fruits, accompanied by 3 recording crystals. The leading woman spoke up, Miss, please have some tea. Considering that everyone might be bored, Master Yi has set up a betting table. Guests can place bets on any match. Qin Yao noticed the 3 recording crystals and curiously asked, what are these? The young woman immediately picked up a recording crystal, smiled beautifully, and replied to Qin Yao, this is a film created by our Master Yi. Inside, it contains some interesting images and sounds. With just 4 divine spiritual stones, you can watch a movie. Pay 30 divine spiritual stones, and you can take it home to enjoy. Upon hearing this, Qin Yao responded, no need to purchase, I'm just curious to take a look. With that, she took out 4 divine spiritual stones and handed them to the young woman. The young woman smiled and accepted them, then activated a recording crystal. Immediately, a passionate romantic film appeared with incredibly vivid content and imagery. The sound and visuals were very realistic. Witnessing this scene, Qin Yao immediately blushed. She shyly closed her eyes tightly and covered her mouth as she coughed. Meanwhile, Yang Lian and Sing Xiu gaped at the scene, exclaiming, oh my, the recording crystal can be played like this. At that moment, in the center of the stage, Zhen Jiaoxu stepped up and declared loudly, I am Zhen Jiaoxu with a mortal feud against Tai Su Holy Sun Xiao Zhan. Today, I am here to commit that whoever kills Xiao Zhan will become the son-in-law of the Zhen family, my husband. The young men nearby, upon hearing this declaration, were filled with excitement and confidence. The expressions on their faces were all beaming. One of them clenched his fist and said, if we can marry into the Zhen family, we will rise to great heights. That's a shortcut of centuries. Yes, this is an opportunity. The guy next to him also wore a smug smile and added, that's right, this opportunity comes once in 1,000 years. Another one chuckled wickedly and said, Xiao Zhan, you're as good as dead, ha ha. At that moment, the primordial Yi family's 3rd master, Yi Hong Yu, announced, ha ha, dear audience, next is the highly anticipated Battle of the Holy Sun. Let us passionately invite the first contestant to the stage. Immediately, a figure leaped up and declared confidently, Taisu Holy Sun, opposing Miss Yao Xu is equivalent to opposing me. A shadow also jumped onto the stage. The crowd gasped in admiration upon realizing it was Taisu Holy Sun. Some gamblers began to yell, he has finally appeared, place your bets. I bet Taisu Holy Sun will win. The primordial sacred constitution is unbeatable. I bet Taisu Holy Sun will win too. The man emitted several powerful bolts of lightning. He rushed towards Xiao Zhan while shouting, today I must take revenge for Miss Yao Xu. He threw a punch, its power considerable, with lightning crackling around him. But it was not enough. The young man Xiao Zhan easily countered it with one hand. Xiao Zhan clenched the punch of the man and lightly struck. The man was sent flying backwards with a tremendous shot. Looking back, one could only see a long skid mark. While the man lay flattened, the ground and rocks around him shattered. Yi Hong Yu announced the first match, declaring Taisu Holy Sun the winner. Zhao Yu pointed while turning to his companion, seemingly noticing something unusual. He said, brother, do you feel like Xiao Zhan seems strange today? The other replied, indeed, there is something odd, but I'm not sure what it is. A moment later, the man chuckled softly, mumbling, so that's it. Zhao Yu then asked, have you figured out the problem? Zhao Yu's companion replied, yes, the strength of Taisu Holy Sun is becoming increasingly powerful. The one fighting in the arena is just a puppet controlled by Xiao Zhan using his spiritual sense. Zhao Yu was very curious. If Xiao Zhan is not personally entering the arena, then what is he doing? What is his ultimate goal? At the same time, the young man Xiao Zhan was being massaged by several beautiful hot girls in some room. He was immensely pleased and said, yes, that's right, so comfortable. Use a bit more strength. The holy daughter Feng Yao from Taisu Holy Ground found her way to Xiao Zhan's room above the stands. I thought you would personally go down to the arena, but I didn't expect you to be here. Enjoying yourself. The young man Xiao Zhan, lying back and enjoying, calmly replied, controlling the puppet is enough. If I personally went down to compete, that would be too bullying. Outside the arena, the referee continued to announce the 4th match. Taisu Holy Sun wins. The holy daughter replied, I have heard from Elder Mo that you wanted to ask Master Wu Hen to forge for you, but got rejected. We know each other, I can help you, with the condition that you have to be with me for one day so we can get to know each other. Hearing a beautiful girl's request, especially as it came from the holy daughter, the young man Xiao Zhan immediately sat up and agreed. This is not a problem. The young man wore a pleased smile. Let's decide on that. Just as the holy daughter was about to say something, a voice from outside the arena interrupted. Match 7, Taisu Holy Sun wins. Meanwhile, the young man Xiao Zhan leaned closer to the holy daughter and pretended to use his devilish hands to massage her shoulders. Holy daughter, you are the strongest among the low saint realm. You wouldn't trick me to a secluded place and use force on me, would you? The girl blushed and replied, Holy son, don't talk nonsense. Why do you always speak so ambiguously? At this moment outside, Yi Hong Yu was performing convincingly. Ha ha, truly deserving of the title Holy Sun, really too strong. We welcome everyone to continue betting, keep going, keep going. If you want to earn, you must aim for a big amount. If you lose somewhere, double your bet there. And those who are winning should be bold and bet 10 times. Ye Hong Yu thought to himself, almost there, time to prepare the net kaka. Now I invite the next challenger, fellow Taoist Dongdu, to the arena. The plump Dongdu looked quite bizarre in appearance. Immediately, Yi Hong Yu transmitted his voice to the young man Xiao Zhan, who was enjoying himself in the room with several beautiful ladies. Xiao Zhan, the person you were looking for, has arrived. This person practices poison techniques, and due to long-term exposure to poisonous air, his face and neck are covered in toxic sores. The young man Xiao Zhan, enjoying himself, teased. Brother Yi, the person you found is indeed a perfect match for Miss Zhen Jiaoxiu. Yi Hong Yu continued to smirk and transmitted. This person has more enmity with the Zhen family than anyone else and wants to make Zhen Jiaoxiu disgusted. If he does something vile to her, Zhen Jiaoxiu's life will surely be even more unbearable than death. Brother Chu, are you satisfied with this arrangement of mine? In response to Yi Hong Yu's question, the young man Xiao Zhan replied indifferently. What does this have to do with me? When a young man is enjoying himself, why should he care about other matters? The name Yi Hong Yu seemed to understand the hint from Xiao Zhan and replied, Yes, yes, yes. This has nothing to do with us, hee hee. Outside the stands, the crowd gathered and talked excitedly. Who is this person? Why is he so ugly? Forget him. Looking at his appearance, he can't possibly win against Holy Sun, your highness. Quickly place your bets. Continue to back Taisu Holy Sun for the win. This is really refreshing. We've made nearly 50,000 divine spiritual stones already. The chubby Dongdu immediately struck a poisonous palm towards Xiao Zhan's puppet. The force was quite strong, and the crowd marveled. Although he is a bit ugly, his strength is impressive. Another person rebutted, What are you afraid of? Holy Sun, your highness cannot lose. Right after that, the chubby Dongdu lunged at Xiao Zhan. Both were enveloped by the streams of poisonous air around them, and the poison gradually infiltrated the puppet. After a while, the appearance of the puppet had been eroded, revealing its true form. The crowd was astonished. Is this the puppet? Taisu Holy Sun has always used divine will to control the puppet in battle. Seeing the puppet fall, the crowd was greatly perplexed. Why is this happening? Why isn't Taisu Holy Sun fighting in person? Is there something more to it? How will the outcome of this battle be determined? Will Taisu Holy Sun win, or will Dongdu win? Where will our money go? What is the final result? The two young ladies from the Zhen family were also left speechless at this scene. Immediately, the youth Xiao Zhan rushed out from his joyful room. The young man appeared incredibly cool as he rushed in, causing the onlookers to admire him. He is Taisu Holy Sun. His aura is so powerful. Seeing the flames emanating from around Xiao Zhan, the crowd began to discuss. His state is unstable. It seems he cannot control his explosive power. Under his feet, the floor made of dark iron shattered after a powerful landing. The young man calmly explained, As everyone has seen, after passing through the holy body tribulation, I have been in seclusion cultivation. The reason is very simple. I cannot control the sudden surge of power. In response to Xiao Zhan's outstanding performance, the onlookers started to believe. They even thought well of Xiao Zhan and exclaimed, Your Highness Holy Sun is worried about losing control of his power and accidentally harming his peers, which is why he is using the puppet to fight. For this reason, he is even willing to risk being defeated by others. Your Highness Holy Sun is truly noble. A group of people shouted in unison, Saint Sun, Your Highness, noble meaning. Saint Sun, Your Highness, noble meaning. Meanwhile, another person shouted loudly, Taisu Holy Sun, I just want to know the outcome of this match. The young man calmly pointed at the chubby Dongdu and replied, This puppet may only have two of my real strengths. Taoist friend Dongdu can defeat the puppet I control, which proves his strength is very strong. Miss Zhen Jiaoxu has a deep misunderstanding of me, but the Zhen family once helped me when I faced tribulations. Xiao Zhan sighed. Even to repay this favor, never mind, let's not talk about this anymore. In this contest, I lost. The winner is Taoist friend Dongdu. Dongdu seemed to be frozen thinking, what the hell is this? Really knows how to act. The young ladies, seeing Xiao Zhan's handsome appearance and his words full of righteousness, felt their hearts race and exclaimed, the Taisu Holy Son is truly a good man for separating grudge and gratitude. A holy son doesn't need to do this to repay his favor. The young man then continued his performance, turning to say, Miss Zhen Jiaoxu, I hope you can let go of your hatred because of this. If possible, I truly want to be your friend. The onlookers and bettors at this moment hardly cared about the grudges, they were only concerned about the money. Damn it, that's not right. How will the betting for this final match be calculated? If Taisu Holy Son loses, I will lose 70,000 divine spiritual stones. No way, I must make Master Yi return the money. Meanwhile, the two Zhen sisters were seething with anger. Zhen Jiaoxu gritted her teeth. He not only used me to make money, but then shifted all the blame onto me. The elder sister glared and shouted loudly. How despicable and shameless. After a moment, the ugly, round-faced Dongdu, who was short, clasped his hands and asked, Since your highness the Holy Son has acknowledged that I won this match, does what Miss Zhen Jiaoxu said earlier still count? Can I be her husband? As they looked at the extremely ugly short man on stage, the crowd that was noisy suddenly fell silent. Everyone instinctively turned to look at Zhen Jiaoxu's private room, eager to know her answer. They wondered if she would keep her promise and agree to this ugly guy or go back on her word and refuse. Hearing Dongdu's words, Zhen Jiaoxu furiously shouted, You and Xiao Zhan are colluding to deceive people. Do you really think everyone is a fool? You intended to cheat others and ended up being cheated yourself, fooled by the very gang you created. She was extremely angry. The crowd watching from the stands continually pointed and whispered. The girls looked at Xiao Zhan, completely infatuated, believing that the young man was acting nobly. Our holy son, your highness, intentionally lost the competition to reduce the feud of the Zhen family, even if it meant being ridiculed by outsiders. The young men were furious at the Zhen girl for breaking her word. They clenched their fists, grinding their teeth. Miss from the Zhen family, you are too much. How dare you use malicious words to harm our your highness? Doesn't your conscience hurt? Making one declaration and acting in another way, lacking integrity, is truly outrageous. The man next to him added, That's right, Miss from the Zhen family is truly excessive. Taisu Holy Son has already conceded defeat. Why would you let it go? The arena buzzed with whispers. I heard that Taisu Holy Son killed her lover in the past. Her behavior is understandable. It's laughable. I heard about Shang Gong Hao, and that guy wanted to step on the Holy Son's face during Taisu Holy Son's ceremony to gain a position. He deserved to be killed and has no right to sympathy. The Shang Gong family was eradicated because of that matter, which is truly satisfying. The whispers traveled from all directions, causing Zhen Jiaoxu's complexion to turn even paler. Her elder sister Zhen Yao Yi, seeing the crowd fiercely opposing, stepped up to defend her. Zhen Yao Yi took her sister's hand and said loudly, Previously, Jiaoxu misspoke. The Zhen family will definitely not change its mind. If Dao Yudongdu has intentions, he can visit the Zhen family to discuss the marriage. Hearing this from her sister, Zhen Jiaoxu could only call out sister and did not dare to object. Immediately after, her elder sister Zhen Yao Yi pressed down on Zhen Jiaoxu's shoulder, shook her head, and whispered in her ear, continuing to drag this out here will only add to the ridicule. Let's go back and plot for the long term. The murderous intent flashed in her eyes and disappeared. If this Dongdu dares to come, he shouldn't think about leaving. Zhen Jiaoxu pursed her lips and nodded reluctantly, her eyes filled with deeper resentment, wishing she could kill Xiao Zhan immediately. Dongdu, hearing these words, thought they were true and folded his arms with a loud laugh. Ha ha ha. Then let's decide this way. Later, I will definitely bring a gift to the door. The audience in the stands, outside, and in private rooms all have strange expressions as they witnessed this scene. They couldn't help but imagine what it would be like for the short man, Dongdu, and the beautiful Zhen Jiaoxu to do that in bed. Inside a room at the Taisu embassy, Xiao Zhan rested his feet on a chair, leisurely sipping tea. Mo Fa Yan stood behind him, continuously massaging his shoulders and pouring tea for him. She spoke up. Miss Zhen must really hate you by now. Opposite the tea table, holy daughter Yao Si sat gracefully, her demeanor elegant, nodding. Xiao Zhan sneered. So what? She dares to say she will take revenge on me at any cost. If she dares to stand in front of me and say these words, I would dare to slap her to death right there. The room was filled with intense killing intent. Fortunately, he immediately retracted the hostility, and Holy Daughter Yao Si lowered her gaze. At that moment, Yi Hongyu burst in, laughing loudly. Ha ha ha, Brother Chu, we've struck it rich. Xiao Zhan smirked, unable to resist asking, how much did you make? Yi Hongyu held up a thumb, shaking it in front of him, excluding Dongdu's share, a total of 60 million. Mo Faiyan widened his eyes, its heart shaken. 60 million divine spiritual stones. Your Highness is truly impressive. The money-making efficiency is incredibly terrifying. With such a large number of divine spiritual stones, even though I am now at the Great Sanct Realm, it would take me over 1,000 years to earn them. Yi Hongyu blinked and signaled, in a moment, my people will bring the divine spiritual stones over. At that moment, a subordinate of Yi Hongyu rushed into the main hall, his face pale, bowing his head and trembling. Young master, it's not good. The divine spiritual stones have been stolen. Yi Hongyu and Xiao Zhan exchanged glances, smiles on their faces gradually freezing. Yi Hongyu glared at the subordinate, angrily stepping forward to grab the collar of his shirt, yelling, "What happened? Did you see who it was?" The trembling subordinate replied, "Previously, we were escorting the divine spiritual stones to the Taisu headquarters under the guidance of Manager Wu. On the way, we were ambushed. We only saw a person in a black cloak. Boom! In the void, a loud explosion could be heard from millions of miles away from Shang Jing, flames engulfing the area. The old guard of Yi Hongyu unleashed his supreme powers, sending a man in black flying out. The old man shouted, 'Hand me your storage ring and I can spare your life.' The man retorted, 'You can't hold me, let alone kill me.' The old man named Yi Hongyu was in the Great Saint Realm with formidable strength. Unfortunately, he was too old and weak, his vitality depleted, unable to advance any further, so he willingly became a guard for Yi Hongyu. Not long after the man in black stole the storage ring, the old man followed the fluctuations in the void, chasing for thousands of kilometers, eventually blocking him. The opponent had just entered the Great Saint Realm and was no match for him. However, the man in black concealed his aura very well, making it impossible to discern whether he was human or a demon. With a very strong physical body, Yi Hongyu's several brutal attacks were all resisted by him. The man in black thought to himself, "To be safe, I should teleport the storage ring first." Stubbornly, Yi Hongyu snorted coldly, stepping through the void over a distance of 10,000 miles, using a hand seal to unleash the supreme secret technique of the Zen family, Fist of Reincarnation. It seized all life energy. All things must undergo reincarnation, and all energy converged into this fist. The earth trembled, and the void collapsed. The man in black contracted his pupils, knowing he could not withstand this punch. Blood surged from the top of his head, and unwilling to hesitate, he burned his essence blood, using blood travel to create a trail of bloody afteridges, fleeing at a speed far exceeding that of light. Yi Hongyu struck a blow into the void, and the empty space ahead collapsed with a thunderous roar for thousands of miles. A powerful punch fell, but the man in black had already fled quickly. At that moment, Mo Faiyan appeared, shouting loudly, "Trying to escape is not that easy." She snorted coldly, snapped her fingers, and a finger shot out, piercing through the shoulder of the man in black. A cry of agony echoed from the distant void. He gritted his teeth and shouted, "Crazy woman." A thought flashed through his mind. Continuing to get entangled with them was meaningless. The safest option now was to run. In a flash, the man in black used blood travel and fled, leaving a long streak of light soaring across the sky. Mo Faiyan was furious, muttering curses. Damn it, he still got away. Yi Hongyu, with his aged face, approached, thanking Mo Elder for the assistance. Mo Faiyan furrowed her brow and replied, "The opponent's blood travel is truly too fast. Even if I wanted to chase, I wouldn't be able to catch up." Yi Hongyu nodded and said, "Don't worry, I have used a secret technique to mark his aura. No matter where he goes, he will not escape from this old man." After returning to the room at the Taisu embassy to continue giving a head massage to Xiao Zhan, the young man happily asked, "Faiyan, do you think that guy in the black robe used the secret technique?" Mo Faiyan gently massaged Xiao Zhan while nodding, her plump lips slightly parted. "Yes, when he fought against Elder Yi Hongyu, the technique he used for the secret skill was 8 parts similar to your highness. I'm not mistaken." Xiao Zhan stroked his chin thoughtfully. He knew he was marked by Yi Hongyu, so he chose to use the ring storage to teleport away. This shows that he has someone backing him or a force that possesses the secret technique. Xiao Zhan couldn't help but think of his second junior sister's enemies. Most likely, it's the Ouyang family from the Eastern Continent. Humph, I didn't expect that even before I went looking for you, you would provoke me first, and secretly, a great Saint Realm has appeared. Very well, very well. Mo Fa Yan gently said, "Your Highness, should we report to the Holy Ground? A small Ouyang family can be wiped out with a snap of the fingers. We can definitely take them down without leaving a trace." The voice is soft, but the words it speaks make people's hair stand on end. Xiao Zhan immediately sat up and replied, "Matters concerning the Ji secret technique should not be made public. This should not be reported to the Holy Ground, and the Zhen family must not know. If our Taisu experts make a move, it will easily attract other forces, even monsters looking for opportunities. There are too many variables. In the end, whether the Ji secret technique falls into my hands is uncertain. I will go to the Eastern Continent first. You can just tell the outside that I am in seclusion cultivation." Mo Elder then spoke up, "Your Highness, I will go with you." The young man turned to hug Mo Fa Yan and said, "Of course." Just as he was about to do something, Xiao Zhan suddenly remembered something important. He said, "Now, we must deal with the Ouyang family before the Zhen family. With the Ji secret technique, we can retrieve the divine spiritual stones." Outside the city of Shang Jing, Xiao Zhan and Mo Fa Yan disguised themselves as a normal couple and bought tickets for a gigantic airship to travel to the Eastern Continent. A stunning woman, looking towards the distant clouds, whispered, "Your Highness, at this speed, we'll reach the Eastern Continent in about 7 days." She was Mo Fa Yan in disguise. Xiao Zhan disguised himself as a middle-aged cultivator with a weathered face. He then asked, "What is the progress on investigating the Ouyang family?" Mo Fa Yan replied, "Well, I've investigated a bit and found some clues. This family has been very low-keyed for the past century, not antagonizing any forces, but no one dares to underestimate the Ouyang family. After all, they have 2 low-sank realm great peaks residing there, in name at least. Moreover, the 2 elders are Tao companions. The man in black is reckless enough to seize divine spiritual stones. I suspect that the remaining low-sank realm elder of the Ouyang family is probably on the verge of breaking through to the Great Sank realm." They both slowly walked towards the inner room of the ship's cabin. Mo Fa Yan, walking beside Xiao Zhan, curiously asked, "What does your Highness intend to do?" Xiao Zhan replied, "If I cannot act under the name of Taisu Holy Ground, then I will act under the name of my deceased second sister." Mo Fa Yan looked up, her beautiful eyes filled with doubt. "Second sister?" Xiao Zhan smiled. "I misspoke. It should be second brother." Xiao Zhan then quickly embraced Mo Fa Yan so she wouldn't notice, an action that made her face turn as red as a tomato. Xiao Zhan secretly thought, "It doesn't matter if it's brother or sister. Anyway, Yun He Feng, I'm taking revenge for you." Take a good look in Samsara. Next is the scene where Mo Fa Yan keeps making sounds like ah, 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 while the young man Xiao Zhan continuously pats the horse's bottom and rides. The 2 of them played the horseback riding game all night. The spaceship shook a bit because the young man was enjoying the thrill too much, but it was fine. The gigantic spaceship still tore through the wind and quickly moved forward. The next morning, feeling free, Xiao Zhan and Mo Fa Yan strolled around the spaceship. Mo Fa Yan smiled secretly, picking up an exquisite jade bracelet from a stand. It was a dragon and phoenix carved jade bracelet of mystic grade. "Husband, what do you think of this bracelet? The dragon and phoenix patterns are so lifelike, and it also has runes engraved on it. This is a mystic item that can create a level 2 protective shield in case of danger, helping the wearer withstand an attack." Mo Fa Yan certainly didn't care much about the mystic item. She simply thought it was beautiful. Xiao Zhan replied, "If my wife likes it, then just buy it." Then Xiao Zhan stepped forward to ask the price and took out the raw stone to pay. Mo Fa Yan smiled very happily. For the past 2 days, she didn't have to worry about other people's gazes, and with your Highness, it felt like they were truly a married couple, free and at ease. She enjoyed such a simple life, not saying she was infatuated. Suddenly, at this moment, a girl with a dirty face, dressed in rags, thin and pale, accidentally bumped into Xiao Zhan. This accident was quite strange, as she inadvertently reached into Xiao Zhan's pocket. Xiao Zhan quickly noticed and grabbed the girl's hand. "You're still young and not studying properly, yet you've mastered the skill of stealing." The girl, frightened, kept saying, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to." She was about 10 years old, with her arms crossed and big round eyes continuously apologizing. Her pitiful appearance made it hard for anyone to scold her. Xiao Zhan leaned down and stared at the girl, his eyes filled with surprise and astonishment. I think I've seen this girl somewhere before." The girl timidly shrank her neck and bowed her head, her tiny hands twisting the hem of her shirt. Her small, thin figure trembled, fearing that Xiao Zhan would hit her. Such a pitiable look suggested she had been bullied many times before. Xiao Zhan patted the girl's head and gently asked, "Little girl, don't be scared. I won't harm you. Tell me, what is your name?" The girl stammered, Qin Yi, sir. My name is Qin Yi. Xiao Zhan sighed inwardly upon hearing this. No wonder she looked familiar. It turned out the girl was the daughter of an old acquaintance. The Qin family had a deep connection with him. Years ago, when he was still weak, Xiao Zhan and Liu Hongyi were severely injured by others. That time was extremely dangerous as they faced the pursuit of their enemies. Fortunately, while fleeing, they encountered the old man Qin, who happened to be passing by and took them in for treatment, which allowed them to save their lives. The Qin family was originally a prominent clan in Shang Jing. Due to offending someone, they disbanded their servants, and the three of them fled to the eastern continent to hide and avoid disaster. The time they spent in seclusion in the countryside with them was the warmest memory for Xiao Zhan and Liu Hongyi, as if they had found a home wishing to live like that for the rest of their lives. However, the enemy still came to their door. The old man sacrificed himself to lead the pursuers away so that everyone could escape. Many years later, Xiao Zhan avenged the Qin family. Later, he discovered that their daughter was exiled outside. He searched in vain for many years but could not find her. Thinking about meeting the girl again on this spaceship after being reborn, Xiao Zhan looked at the girl in front of him, who bore 7 parts resemblance to his old friend. His mood was complex. Xiao Zhan asked, "Lai, why are you on this ship?" Perhaps sensing that Xiao Zhan did not intend to harm her, Qin Yi was no longer as frightened as she had been at the beginning. The little girl carefully bowed her head and mumbled, My parents went to the eastern continent. I've heard Grandpa say this boat travels between the eastern continent and the south, so I thought maybe I could find my parents." Xiao Zhan sighed, not intending to tell the girl that Qin Tian Zhan and his wife had died. It was better to refrain from discussing her parents' situation for now. Xiao Zhan patted the girl's head and said, "Little girl, follow me and I will teach you to cultivate. In the future, once you have cultivated enough, you can go find your parents by yourself." What surprised Xiao Zhan and Mo Fai Yan was that the girl did not feel happy at all. Instead, she hesitantly asked, "Uncle, are you going to sell me?" Xiao Zhan frowned and asked, "Has anyone ever sold you?" Qin Yi nodded as if fearing something, then quickly shook her head, her big eyes darting around. "Uncle, I have to go to work now." Xiao Zhan curiously asked, "Is this your job?" Qin Yi lowered her head, not daring to look Xiao Zhan in the eyes. "I'm sorry, Uncle. If I don't steal, I won't have anything to eat and I will get beaten." Xiao Zhan assured the little girl, "With me here, you will not go hungry for a day and no one will dare to bully you anymore." Hearing Xiao Zhan's gentle words, Qin Yi trembled as she looked up, her big eyes filled with tears. After a long moment, the little girl shyly asked, "Excuse me, are you Xiao Zhan?" Xiao Zhan responded with a soft yes. The little girl continued, "My father said before he left that if anyone comes to take Yi away, and they do not have bad intentions, that person is most likely Uncle Xiao Zhan or Sister Hong Yi. I don't sense any malice from you, so you must be Xiao Zhan, right?" Although the little girl seemed weak, she was actually very intelligent. Having survived alone in difficult circumstances until now, she had developed a keen ability to observe people's words and expressions. She could quickly recognize who was kind to her and who had bad intentions after a short period of interaction. Xiao Zhan raised his finger to signal and said quietly, "That's right, I am Xiao Zhan. Your father is Qin Tian Zhan, your mother is Chen Mu Yu, and your grandfather is Qin Mo. They are all old friends of mine. If this is a secret, you cannot tell anyone for now, as it would be detrimental to me. Do you understand?" Xiao Zhan raised his hand to wipe the dirt off the little girl's cheek. Seeing him admit it, tears as big as beams rolled down the corners of Qin Yi's eyes. "I know, Uncle. I won't tell anyone else." The girl opened her jacket and took out a crumpled, yellowed piece of paper from the inner lining. "Xiao Zhan, Uncle, this is what my dad gave me before he left. He said if one day you or Hong Yi find me, please give it to you." Xiao Zhan took it and unfolded the paper. The writing on it had faded. "Brother Chu, dear Lady Liu, by the time you see this letter, New You and I may have already died. Brother Chu, dear Lady Liu, my father is not dead. He has been captured by Hong Jinan Meng, who is interrogating him for your whereabouts. We plan to rescue him, but this journey is dangerous, and we cannot bring Yi to take the risk with us. If you meet Yi in the future, please take care of her for us. Qin Tian Jun." After a moment, Xiao Zhan instructed Yi, "When we get off the spaceship, you are the daughter of me and Aunt Fai Yan. Remember that clearly?" Yi held tightly onto Xiao Zhan with both hands, her eyes shining as she replied, "I remember." At this moment, 2 men saw Xiao Zhan and Mo Elder leading Yi and wondered, where are these 2 taking that girl? Quickly, the 2 men went to block Xiao Zhan's path. A minute and 30 seconds later, their accomplices gathered and surrounded Xiao Zhan at the foot of Zuling Mountain in the eastern continent. Seeing the group around him, Xiao Zhan thought to himself, I didn't expect to encounter blind fools as soon as I arrived to the eastern continent, daring to block my way. Qin Yi saw the group and immediately recognized them. She felt a bit scared, her eyes wide open, and said to Xiao Zhan, Uncle Xiao Zhan, it's them who tried to kidnap me. They are all bad people. You might have to be careful. Xiao Zhan comforted the girl. Don't be afraid. A muscular man immediately warmed up his limbs and stepped forward. You are quite bold. Your guts are not small, openly wanting to take my people away. Are you tired of living? Mo Faiyan immediately communicated through sound. Holy Sun, Your Highness, do you want to deal with them? Xiao Zhan decisively replied briefly. Quick battle, quick victory. As soon as he finished speaking, Mo Faiyan rushed up. You blocked the way first. Don't blame me for being rude. With just a few basic punches, Mo Faiyan sent several people to meet the King of Hell. Blood splattered everywhere, staining a quarter of the street red. Then, both of them quickly took Yi away. Xiao Zhan used a spell. This is not a place to stay long. Hurry and follow me. In an instant, the three of them disappeared without a trace. In a flash, all three appeared in Hong Dong at the eastern continent. Xiao Zhan was somewhat surprised. Hong Kong City, we are finally here at the Ouyang family's old nest. Xiao Zhan then asked, Faiyan, who is the most talented familial disciple of the Ouyang family this generation? Faiyan replied, Ouyang Tian Shi. If the Ouyang family truly has the secret technique Ji, he must have practiced it. Capture of the transcendent soul. Remember, do not reveal your identity. Understood. Xiao Zhan hid on the roof across from the Ouyang family to observe. Seeing many soldiers on guard, Xiao Zhan thought, I didn't expect the Ouyang family to be so strictly guarded.